Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here, guys. Today's video will be more of a quick one. I just want to share my thoughts about a fragrance that got quite a lot of popularity on YouTube last year, I think. I know I'm a bit late, but it's okay, I don't mind that. Okay, so as you can see probably from the title, today I want to share my thoughts about a fragrance called Khaltat Night by Attar Collection. I have a decant of this fragrance that was kindly sent to me by a gorgeous woman who's watching my videos. So in case you're watching this video as well, thank you so much for your decant. And thank you for giving me the possibility to test this fragrance, because I had this fragrance on my radar for such a long time, but I couldn't find samples of it. And even now, I will give you a spoiler, like a small one. This fragrance clearly went on my wish list, and even now when this fragrance went on my wish list, here locally I can find only one website that sells it. And also, I know I'm getting a bit sidetracked, but what I want to say is, I have seen online there are two bottles for this fragrance, and I have also read that there are some fakes of this fragrance going on. I will insert the bottles. Now, this bottle over here, I know this is the OG bottle. This is how the bottle looks on the website that I saw it on. But there's also this bottle going around online. If you have tried either one of these two, I would really appreciate if you could let me know what's the difference between them. Okay, so without further ado, let's just start. I will insert the notes here on the screen and I will apply this fragrance here. I can smell it in the air already and I love it, you guys. Oh my god. Yes, right from the start, if you are a cinnamon lover and if you're a lover of cherries in fragrances, it's worth the hype in my opinion. To me, first time I tried this fragrance, it slightly reminded me of a fragrance that I already have in my collection and that I'm like obsessed with. The fragrance is a discontinued fragrance, unfortunately. The fragrance is called Sajaya Gold by Junaid Perfumes. Now, the way they did here the cinnamon, with a slight cherry-like feel in the background, this is what this aspect or like this facet made me think of Sajaya Gold, but they are not really the same kind of fragrance. Basically, this one from Attar Collection, it's much breezier, much lighter, much more top-heavy, and as it develops, it gets even breezier in a sense, whereas Sajaya Gold, it has a much deeper, richer, fuller base, you know? So I feel like it's just that like cinnamon cherry-like feel that made me think of Sajaya Gold. So yeah, this fragrance is beautiful, you guys. Surprisingly, this fragrance is not as like thick and robust as I was expecting it to be. To me, you have the smell of cinnamon. The cinnamon here, imagine you have some like powdered cinnamon, but you also have some like cinnamon sticks, and you smell them because you do get this like soft woody trace in the background. So you have the smell of cinnamon with the smell of, do you know those like perfect looking red apples? And if you cut one and you lean in to smell it, you get the freshness, you get the slight, I don't know what's the word in English to describe it, but like a, not tangy, but I feel like a crisp, sweet, slightly sour feel. You have that same effect here in the fragrance, and I think it's amazing, honestly. So you have the cinnamon with the freshness of the red apple, with a slight sweet, crisp, sour feel from the apple as well, and lots of musk. Now, to me, the musk here makes this fragrance go quite bright, quite breezy, quite airy. The fragrance, how to explain? Basically, it's quite top heavy, and the base itself, it's quite light and breezy. And as it develops more and more, I feel like it gets breezier and breezier, you know? So the overall, how to explain, like weight of the fragrance, it's quite soft and light, you know? And this is something that I was not expecting it to be, in a sense, because I know you have listed there patchouli, and usually patchouli in fragrances can give a slight deep, darker, earthier vibe, I would say, or something slightly. I feel like patchouli in fragrances can smell like green and slightly aromatic, herbal. They can smell slightly earthy, like wet soil-like, you know. Now the patchouli here, I feel like in the opening, I don't detect it at all. To me, I just get it like as this fragrance starts to develop on my skin, in the dry down, like in the last bits of the dry down, when the fragrance goes very musky, very powdery, very fresh from the red apple with that like sweet sour red apple feel. That's when I get just a tinge of patchouli there. It's almost like to give a bit of complexity to the fragrance, but even that patchouli is blended within the other lighter, brighter, breezier nuances, you know? So you don't get a lot of, how to say, like a rich, decadent type of patchouli, you know? It's just like a pinch of it, I would say. Yeah, oh my god, you guys, this fragrance smells so beautiful. And I feel like the combo of apple and cinnamon it makes my mouth water, honestly, like every time I smell it. And the thing is, because it's quite breezy in this aspect, because it's not that like thick, heavy, robust fragrance with a really rich base, I feel like people who struggle with this kind of notes in general, or people who struggle with heavier fragrances, this is a fragrance that I feel like those people could enjoy as well, because it doesn't feel suffocating, you know. I feel like you could spray this fragrance a lot, honestly, and no one would be bothered by it. Quite the opposite. I feel like people would just like lean in closer to smell you even better, because it's quite a delicious smell without smelling, how to say, edible or like a fully gourmand fragrance, you know. So yeah, I love how this fragrance smells like, and I love the smell of cinnamon, you guys. I feel like I have mentioned this in so many videos of mine, but cinnamon is one of my all-time favorite notes. I haven't came across a fragrance yet that has too much cinnamon in it. Like, yeah, it's a note that I love. It's a note that I love, especially cinnamon mixed with vanilla, mixed with rose, mixed with some ambery nuances. These are my kind of fragrances. Like when I'm thinking of like my comfort fragrances, these are my comfort fragrances, you know? Yeah, other fragrances this one slightly reminded me of when I tried it is Khamrah by Lattafa, but again, even compared to Khamrah, I feel like this one is much airier, much breezier, slightly more powdery, much fresher as well, you know, not fresh like blue fresh, aquatic fresh, nothing that in that field, let's say. Fresh, like I said, that like red apple type of freshness, you know, that like crisp red apple freshness with the powdery musk, with the cinnamon sticks, with a slight cinnamon powder sprinkled on top, you know, with the slightest, softest patchouli hint in the background. So yeah, even compared to Khamrah, this is much lighter, much brighter, much breezier, but I do feel they do share again that like apple cinnamony combo. But to me, the one from Lattafa, the apple is much more pronounced and it's less fresh. It smells like a glass of warm apple juice from McDonald's, you know, whereas the apple in this one, in Khaltat Night, it's more of like a freshly cut, really beautiful smelling red apple, you know. So I feel like even the apple is a bit different, but yeah, I would say it's in that same scent family for sure. It's so beautiful, you guys, so beautiful, so beautiful, so beautiful, so beautiful. Oh my god. And I feel like this fragrance for late summer, honestly, I personally would wear it all year round, even in summer. I feel like in summer that's not cinnamon, the cherry vibe is a bit more pronounced, whereas in the colder months I feel like it tones down a bit faster than it would in warm weather, but personally I would wear it all year round. Summer nights, oh my god, summer parties, date nights, I don't know, early autumn, this one during the autumn season, again, it would smell amazing if you love this kind of notes. Now the only thing to keep in mind, I feel like it will remind you slightly of Sajaya Gold if you've tried it. But again, that one is a much heavier, denser. That one also has like a smoked fume vanilla that's quite decadent, that's quite rich. That one also has a beautiful rose accord. It also will remind you slightly a bit of Khamrah by Lattafa, but again, that one goes into a bit of a different direction, much denser, much warmer, with a deeper base in a sense. This one, I feel like compared to all these fragrances, this is the lightest, brightest, breeziest, airiest of them all, and the least suffocating one. So yeah, honestly, I feel like this fragrance is quite alluring, you know, it has something mysterious about it, but it has something, I don't know, it has something that makes you want to lean in, to smell it even closer, you know, it has something very addicting about it, or at least for me, but keep in mind, I love this kind of notes, love this fragrance, honestly, and to me, it is completely worth the hype. And the thing is, I have sprayed, even though, how to say, basically, you know how I said that it's quite a light, breezy, bright fragrance. Well, with all this in mind, it still projects very well, you guys. I was testing again the fragrance a few days ago. I was like spraying it on my hand, you know, and I remember, I think after that I went to cook something and I kept getting beautiful whiffs of the fragrance for a good few hours. So I feel like even though it's much lighter, much brighter, much breezier than Khamrah, than Sajaya Gold, the fragrance itself performs pretty good, you guys, pretty good, and the projection for this fragrance is amazing. Now, of course, keep in mind I have tested it from a sample, so maybe I will update you more on the projection and sillage when I will buy the full bottle. But until then, performance is not an issue with this fragrance, I feel like. But keep in mind, it's interesting because the thing is, you smell it more in the air than you smell it when you go really close to the skin. I feel like when I smell it from here, basically in the sillage, if it's, let's just say, from like 30 minutes in from applying it, I get the cinnamon, I get the cherry, I get that apple vibe that I was telling you about. But when I lean in much closer and I smell it very close to my skin, I get more of the freshness and the powderiness and that like musky facet, much more than I get the other notes. So I feel like this fragrance actually smells the best in its trail, you know, like when you spray it in your hair, on your clothes, and you walk past someone, you know. I feel like this has the potential to be like a head-turning fragrance, you know. Yeah, it has the potential to be that. Okay, so in terms of versatility and seasons, to me, this fragrance is ultra versatile, like I said, because it doesn't have that like heavy, rich, deeper base. You could easily wear it all year round, daytime, nighttime. Of course, if you're, let's just say, a lover of fresher fragrances, of more citrusy fragrances, if you love more like eau de toilette type of fragrances, I do feel like this one for you might be a fragrance for the colder weather, but if you're like me and you love the kind of fragrances that I love, well, for me this could easily be like an all year round all year round fragrance. Very versatile, daytime, nighttime, going on a date perhaps, going out to a restaurant, going out to a walk in the park. I don't know, whenever you want to feel, when you want to feel alluring. Alluring, a little bit mysterious, a little bit sweet. This is the vibe I feel like. So yes, you guys. So like I said, thank you so much for watching, you guys. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts about the fragrance. I would love to hear your feedback of the fragrance, your experience with the fragrance, your layering suggestions. If you have any fragrances that are similar to this one, I would definitely love to know, because it's a scent profile that I love and that it's almost like, I don't know, like these are the kind of fragrances that I gravitate toward. Don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram. Here is my handle. I will see you in my next video, but until then, thank you so much for watching and I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye.